Start your day with a boost, the natural way. Welcome to Shroom Brew Cafe, where our Shroom Brew coffee energizes you naturally. Experience the perfect blend of rich coffee and powerful mushrooms that not only wake you up, but also enhances your focus and supports your digestive health. From our energizing Shroom Brew coffee to our specialized products for focus and digestion, Shroom Brew Cafe has what you need to feel your best. Visit us today at Dr. T23 site, that is DRT23 site, and discover the power of shrooms today. Let's start the show.
Hey y'all, welcome back to our mini episode of the week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast. And don't forget to tell someone to tell somebody else to join. A win is a win. And thank you guys for subscribing. And I promised you it wouldn't cost you a thing. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit that notification bell so you know when a new episode drops. And don't forget, you could catch us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. Yes, I am still dealing with this sinus infection, but guess what? We are going to get through this episode because we have some things to discuss. Now, Cam Newton had a recent sit down with Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. And in this discussion, Dr. Bryant didn't hold back at all, calling out Cam for what she describes as low functioning behavior when it comes to his personal life, specifically his never ending journey to procreate. And we're not talking about his football career here, but rather the fact that Cam has fathered 8 children with 3 different women, leading to what Dr. Bryant bluntly calls broken homes. Excuse me. Now, Cam isn't someone who shies away from responsibility. He's known for being involved in his kids' lives. But Dr. Bryant makes a crucial point. The deeper issue of fragmented families isn't automatically fixed by being a present father. She argues that no matter how proactive Cam is, the reality is that these children are growing up without a united family structure, and that inevitably leads to emotional and psychological challenges.
Voting is the cornerstone of our democracy. We know that people fought tooth and nail to get that privilege. It is how we make our voices heard, and we drive change in our communities through voting. Your vote matters, so make sure you are registered, stay informed, and cast your ballot this upcoming election. Remember, your vote is your power. If you are not registered to vote, go to vote.org. That's vote.org. Get registered so that your voice is heard. Let's get back to the show.
Now, Cam's defense, well, he says he's doing the best he can, trying to be there for all of his kids and their mothers. But here's the kicker. Dr. Bryant challenged him on this notion, suggesting that his reluctance to marry out of fear of divorce is contributing to the problem. Now, she labels it as selfish behavior driven by his own fears rather than the best interests of his children. Now, I find this conversation on my end incredibly important, especially when we look at the bigger picture. Now, this isn't about one man's choice. It's about a pattern that we see far too often in our society, particularly in the Black community. Now, the cycle of broken homes isn't just a personal issue; it's a community issue, and it affects generations. And you know, I think as we reflect on Cam's story, the question we need to ask ourselves is this: what does it really mean to be a responsible father? Is it enough to be involved, or do we need to dig deeper and address the structures that create stability for our children? Now, be clear, this isn't something that all men do. So, for the women that are out there using the terminology, all men do this and all men do that, let's be clear. It is not all men. And on the flip side of it, we do have women who have low functioning behavior, such as this as well. So, it is a double sided coin. Um, this is not a conversation, in my opinion, about criticizing Cam. It's about challenging all of us to do better, to be more mindful of the long term impact of our decisions on the next generations. And that's, in that interview, it was a lot to, you know, unpack. And I think that even if Cam asserts through the interview that he is a great dad, providing that full support, to each child is all right. Well, you can do it, but to what level? Because when you're over here, these children are feeling a certain kind of way, and it may not come out early. It may come out years later as teenagers or young adults, or sometimes people just hold on to things forever. You never know what the impact is. And he also says that he wants more children. And whether he marries or not, that's just what it is. And, some people are online and they're trying to discredit Dr. Bryant because she isn't married herself, nor does she have children. But you have to remember, this is a profession that is studied, that you go to school for, that you intern for, that you have to do rotations, and you have to do critical thinking. You have to do a lot of work to be in a psychologist space. So you can't discredit what she's saying just because her lifestyle doesn't reflect the bigger picture that she's trying to explain to Cam. And I do think that in our society, and let's not be jaded and think that other cultures don't experience this, but let's keep it real. We know that this is far, far too often happening in the Black community. This is too common of a conversation that we continue to have. And sometimes it takes a conversation like this to spark other conversations and have community and have open forums to say, what issues are we really missing that needs to be addressed? The reason why this is such a big deal in our community. And when you look at, I can't even think of Nick Cannon, excuse me. That's right, Nick Cannon. And he has 12 or 13 or 15. I have no idea the numbers of children that he has, but you have to also think of the responsibility of the mothers who are dealing with that, probably assuming, and I don't know if they thought that I'm the one, and this is where the buck stops. Or the other side of the coin is this: are the women well informed prior to, and are they accepting of this type of lifestyle or behavior? That's also something that needs to be addressed. So, yes, there is a double sided coin here, because we can nail these men, the ones who are in these situations, to the wall. But we also have to understand that there's another person involved. And a lot of times, a lot of things are left out that we don't necessarily understand or we're not privy to. But at the end of the day, this is low functioning behavior from this interview with this man, with this doctor. And I think that this is a good place for us in the community to start a deeper conversation and change the narrative going forward so that we actually can have better homes and better families within our community so that this type of generational curse can stop.